Hello, everybody. I'm Javvad Malik, and alongside me is my wonderful colleague, Erich Kron. And we're here to bring you 5 holiday tips to keep you cyber safe this holiday season.
Let's talk a little bit about these tips. What's the first tip, Javad?
So, number one, I'd say beware of phishing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure we've heard that one before, but it's so true. Okay, how about tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is don't give to charities unless you verified them first.
Gotcha. Now that I can agree with. I mean, charities are great, but yeah, there's so many fake ones that seem to pop up around this time of year and about any like major event, right? If there's a hurricane or a bad storm or some natural or human made disaster, and of course, the holidays. All right. Now, what about tip number 3? What's your tip number 3?
So, make sure your passwords are stronger than Mr. Universe and as unique as a snowflake.
Nice. Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense.
Yep.
What makes a password strong though?
So this is the $1 million question. Many people have argued about this for a long time, but length and complexity are good indicators. A good password is actually one that you can't remember. If you use a password manager, that can be very useful. If you enable multi-factor authentication, that can add that added layer of protection to your account. But if you don't have a password manager and the service doesn't have MFA, then try to use like some random words, put them together, random words that don't mean anything in any context, but put them together, and that will be easier to remember and will be pretty unique.
So now tip number 4, and I think this one you actually kind of talked about just a little bit already.
Be skeptical of offers. Um, if it seems too good to be true, it usually is too good to be true. And a good tip is that if you really are desperate for a particular product or an offer, go to the website directly, reach out to their support, say, hey, I'm really interested in your product. I've seen that there's some coupons going around. I don't know whether they're legit. Can you honor a discount if it is legit? And they will let you know if it is.
No, that's great thoughts. The other thing I would throw in there is if you're going to go do something like this, use a credit card, not your debit card. You have much better protections against fraud and things like that. Rather than give up your debit card number and have your bank account wiped out, it just impacts your credit card. And usually they have good fraud prevention and things like that around there. So, yeah, use your credit card, not your debit card. So, how about tip number 5?
Tip number 5 ties into that with using your credit card. Is to monitor your financial statements.
Yeah.
And if you're using your mobile phone apps for this, turn on notifications so that every time there is a transaction, you get a little ping on the app that says, hey, you just spent $20 or £50, wherever, on this site. And you can just quickly monitor in real time. And as soon as you see something that doesn't look right, get on the phone or use the app to get in touch with your bank and say, look, this is unrecognized. Please stop it or put a freeze on my card for now until you can sort that out.
Yep. All right. So that's all the tips and tricks I have, Javad. I think hopefully some of these will help some people and at least make them think about it again in the middle of all this hustle and bustle that we got going on, right?
Yeah. So we just want everyone to have a good time, great holidays, and to stay secure.